Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy and place to be. It's Debsy. Bloop, bloop. That's me. Boop, Debsy. Hey guys, happy Saturday. I hope everybody is having a wonderful start to the weekend so far. And my vacation is over. But listen, it's okay. We're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. Thankful to have a job to go back to. And so thankful for that. Listen, I know yesterday I said that I have a bunch more videos coming because what did I do? Well, I watched all of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I made all my notes, and I even made this video. I made this video once. Did not upload it. So I thought this was going to be up on Thursday. It wasn't. It was nowhere near anywhere on Thursday. So here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be filming videos for episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10. Today, they're going to be put up sporadically, one each day between now and Tuesday. Tuesday is when the reunion drops. So I'll be watching that. And then on Thursday, I'll be putting up the video for that. So let's talk about season 2, episode 7. It's the Book of Gratitude. So it's the end of the Arizona trip. It's nearing the end. They're still in Arizona, but Whitney is really bucking to get back in to Mom Talk. She's making a video. She's like, hey, you guys, let's make a video. She's making a video on her own. And then she's like, hey, let's make a video together. We haven't made a video in a while. Let's do it. Everything goes over well. So she's like, hey, how about if we take a vote about me being back in Mom Talk? And they're like, okay, let's do it. So everybody votes no, with one exception. The one exception is Taylor. Taylor says yes because, hey, listen, she gave me a shot. She gave me a second shot. So I'm going to do the same for her. I believe in second chances. She gave me one. I'm going to give her one. Everybody else is voting no because of this drama between Whitney and Michaela. So they're really voting on the side of Michaela. So Whitney is not in. And at that point, Miranda to the off camera is like, seeing how that went for Whitney, I'm not really gonna be asking for that. I don't know if I want to be in this. So it's the end of the girls' trip. Everybody returns home. Jesse goes over to Demi's house. Demi, wait, I have listed here Demi is having Friendsgiving, but as we find out, it's actually Layla that's going to be having a Friendsgiving. Demi is talking, this is when Demi was like, look at what I got presents for the girls that I got. And she got this book about something like how to be a friend. She's like, who do you think this is for in our group that doesn't know how to be a friend? She's like, I don't know. She's like, it's Taylor. But we find out stuff that I could say hypocrite. So Demi then opens up about her issue with infertility. She's like, listen, if it's not going to work out biologically for us, for me and Brett, then she's like, Layla's okay with being a surrogate. She's okay with letting them have sex. So I was like, she's like, Layla offered to be the surrogate. I would be okay with them having sex. So we also find out that Layla had an O. She showed off her O face, so she's had an orgasm. So, okay, good for you, good Layla. Meanwhile, Taylor drops Ever off at Dakota's. Dakota is it said Dakota's Airbnb, so he's just staying at an Airbnb. I would get pricey. It turns out, listen, nothing is ever going to, at this point, it looks like nothing is ever going to change between the two of them, because nothing changes. Because that whole thing of like, we should not be having sex. Yeah, they're still sleeping together. They're not living together. So it's just like, they're not living together, but they're co-parenting and it's a booty call. So great. Nothing's ever going to change there at this point. Jay-Z Styles. Is it Jay-Z Styles? Is it Jizz Styles? So Demi and Layla are talking, and Layla's talking about how she's hosting Friendsgiving. They're like, who are you going to invite? She's like, well, there's a couple people that I'm having. I feel like there's hair on my nose, but there's not. She's having a problem inviting two people, and that's Jen and Zach, just because of like her pregnancy and now because of all the drama. But she does want to include her just because Mom Talk is supposed to be about women, empowering women and celebrating women. And she also believes in giving second chances. So she's like, she's kind of down for inviting her. You can tell that Demi isn't that big on it. And Demi also, then they start talking about Taylor, and Demi really thinks that Taylor is triggered by Demi's success. That doesn't make sense when I wrote it. That doesn't make sense when I heard it. It doesn't make sense when I say it, because Taylor is the most successful, like, out of all of them. And I mean, if you want to talk money-wise, the person that's probably second money-wise is probably Jessie. I'm thinking because of her hair, because of her business is all I'm thinking. And see, and here's the thing. Layla's a follower because at this point, she's just going along with everything that Demi says. But we find out a little bit later on, like, Layla's scared of her. I don't know why Layla is scared of Demi. Like, does she have something on her or what? I wouldn't think so. It's weird. It's odd. Okay, here's another part. Listen, so Michaela and me share an anxiety, and that is going through an automatic car wash. Going through an automatic car wash gives me so much anxiety because I'm afraid that I'm not going to get my tire on right, and that mechanism is going to cut into my tire and just slice my tire open. I get nervous every single time about puncturing my tires. And there's also, Macy is with her. So they're talking about how Whitney had suggested the ladies have, like, at Friendsgiving, instead of having like a great British bake-off, they have like a Mormon bake-off. And Whitney is saying like, hey, I'm going to bring my sourdough. Everybody loves my sourdough, and I'm the best at making sourdough. Turns out Macy's like, she's bringing the sourdough. She's the best at sourdough. Even though she's using my starter and my recipe. But here's the thing. This is interesting. I found out when I saw this, it took me back to a video that I saw where a woman was talking about crumble cookie and how it was started by Mormons. I did not know that. But soda, they always have, they're always doing some kind of like sweets out there because of the fact that like they can't have caffeine, and they can't have like wine, they can't have liquor or alcohol. So out there in Utah, like the big thing is soda. You say soda, I say pop, is like carbonated beverages and sweets. I think it's because it's taking the place of like coffee and tea. They can't even have green tea, coffee, tea, and like alcohol. So that's why there's like a soda shop on every corner, and they're big into like baking sweets. So what's Michaela gonna make? Well, Michaela, of course, she's gonna make sourdough because she wants to beat Whitney. There's nothing she wants more than beating Whitney. Okay, so Demi and Brett, they go to a bake shop just for supplies. She's gonna make, there's a thing called better than sex cake, but for the Mormons, it's called better than what cake. So they're there getting they get little penises for the top of the cake. And Demi's asking, should I have a talk with Taylor? Do I need to sit down and have a discussion at Friendsgiving with Taylor? Because about this whole confession that had come through that a woman had slept with Brett while Demi was out of town. And she says, I really feel like Taylor's projecting her relationship onto ours, like her shitty relationship onto ours. And that's when she talks to Brett about the confession. Demi's like, she says, I'm not giving false energy. I'm not giving energy to these false rumors. They're obviously false. But listen, it seems like to me like he is. And she's really putting all those rumors out there. She's like, there's this rumor, and then there was the rumor that you cheated on your other wife. And then there was a rumor that you were in rehab for days. Who the shit cares if listen, if he was in rehab, good for you, because you were taking care of what you needed to take care of. There should be no shame in somebody who goes to rehab. They're taking care of themselves. She sure is airing everything out. This is what gets me about him. When he said, I need to worry about he said something like, I need to worry about what that looks like in optics. That kind of hit me as a little strange. Like, if it's not true, like you're saying it's not true, if it's not true, then what do you care what it looks like? You know, just speak the truth. And those people who know you are going to be like, well, we know that's a lie. And the people that don't believe that, well, then you probably don't know them anyways. So if they don't believe you, then you know the truth, and people know you know the truth. So who cares? I thought that was weird. And listen, there's very few times I'm going to agree with Demi, but she's like, if it's not true, then why does it bother you so much? Like, if it was the tables turned, she would be like, I'm just going to say my truth, and then that's it. You know, I agree with that. And as soon as Brett starts like over explaining, that's when Demi gets kind of suspicious of him. So they leave the store, and I believe he opened up the door, and it was kind of rough, and he says something, and she's like, oh, it's almost like you're over explaining, or you're getting upset because you're guilty or something like that. The cameras had gone off. And he's saying like, I need to find out who said that so that I can go after them. That's another thing that hit me as weird. Like, that hit me as kind of odd. And she told him straight out, she's like, this is how someone acts when they're guilty. And even before that, she was like, maybe you need to do some ketamine and work through this. That's crazy. See, here's the thing that's crazy to me. As a Mormon, you're not allowed to have coffee or tea. You're not allowed to have green tea. Like, you're not allowed to have coffee or tea or alcohol, but they're okay with ketamine. They're okay with a drug. And in that video that I saw, not even in that video, but I think it was earlier in the season, someone, I think it might have been Jen, was like, ketamine is okay with the church. No, and actually I think it was in that video that I saw, because they were like, ketamine is okay with the church as long as it comes from a doctor. The church is okay with it. So what if a doctor was like, hey, I would like for you to have some herbal tea? I mean, if it came from a doctor, well, then that would be okay. I just don't understand. It's just, I guess if it's prescribed by a doctor, then it's okay. Okay. Michaela, listen, did I tell you Michaela is making sourdough. Michaela means business because she hired like a sourdough coach. I did not know that there were coaches that helped you with sourdough competitions. I didn't know that. So, where's the contention? And Maisie goes over to Michaela's house. So listen, where's the contention going to be at Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving? Is it going to be with Jen? And they'd start talking about Jen, and no one's heard from her. Michaela is really like, I'm going to take a step back from Jen, just because in the past I've always reached out to see how she is and what's going on. It hasn't been reciprocated. So I'm going to take a step back and just let that be for a little bit. Okay. Speaking of sourdough, Whitney at her house, Whitney's making sourdough. And we find out, she says, excuse me, but no, I am the one that got Macy into making sourdough, and I'm the one who gave her the starter. So no, that's not true. Zach comes over and pays Whitney and Connor a visit. Whitney's kind of getting worried about Jen because she hasn't really been talking to her that much. Zach's like, well, listen, she got a new medication, but she's been throwing up. The medicine's been making her sick. But it's just gotten worse. Like medically, it's gotten worse, and mentally, it hasn't gotten better. This year's been like the absolute worst year for Jen. He said she cries like all of the time, and 90% of the time it's about the girls in Mom Talk. Like nobody has reached out except for Zach, or except for Connor and Whitney, and so nobody has reached out. Nobody's reached out, and then come to find out that some of the girls and their husbands are making videos about them, just making videos about her, which I get that. That's not a true friendship. That's really not. If you find out that your friend is pregnant, why would you do that? It's just not. And Zach thinks that Zach's like Mom Talk. It's just full of gaslighters, especially Jesse and Demi. And Layla and Michaela, they're doing this just to fit in. They're followers. They're not real friends. They're followers. And Zach says, Demi and Brett have more skeletons than anyone else. Skeletons that could hurt them. So she tries to flip it. Demi tries to flip everything on Jen to, distraction. And we find out that Demi has gotten a cease and desist order against Jen. I guess because she was talking about Vanderpump Villa. That right there, you get a cease and desist. That to me says guilty. I'm sorry. That to me screams guilty. So next, Layla meets up with Cameron at Swig because they have not been having a great time. Like, they're not communicating. She doesn't know what's going on, and she would really like for him to be there for Friendsgiving. So they meet, and he basically comes out and is like, hey, listen, I really, for the last few months, I really haven't felt like I've been being treated well by you. And he's unsure if she loves him. Like, he loves her, but he's not sure if she loves him. Here's the thing then. Why not ask her this? Why not tell her this? I mean, communication, but then we find out that, listen, she has trust issues because of her ex-husband had cheated on her. Plus, her parents are divorced. She had a really messy childhood. She has trust issues. So the communication isn't great between either one of them. They do make up, and he's willing to work on the relationship, and so is she. So everything's fine. Everything's good with them. Dakota is playing basketball with his friend Gavin. And as it turns out now, he's like, I guess he's now crashing on Gavin's couch. And talk turns to Taylor, and he's now getting tired of this just being like a joke of a relationship. He puts in the work. He says he's putting in the work, but she's constantly always bringing up Jenna. I mean, they're still sleeping together, but he wants more. He wants a family. So what he's going to do is he's basically gonna be like, hey, listen, this is it. You either commit or we break it off. Because if Taylor, if you want that family, then I'm here. But if you don't, and you just want to keep stringing me along, then that's not fair to me. I completely agree. Okay. I don't think Taylor should be in a relationship with anybody right now. I just don't. I mean, I think she should focus on herself and her kids and therapy, because she has a lot of trust issues. So I think that's fair for Dakota. Okay, for Friendsgiving, the only people that are not there are Jordan and Jesse. They're on vacation, and Jen's not there. So Michaela comes in. She made 3 desserts. Well, really 4 desserts, because one is a topping. So she made 3 desserts for the Great Mormon Bake Off, including a sourdough that has CTR on the top. CTR stands for choose the right. That makes sense for the Mormons. Funny thing is, that's exactly what Whitney's has on top. Whitney has on top of hers. So Dakota is not going to be there, and Whitney and Taylor are talking. Dakota's not going to be there. She's like, he gave me an ultimatum, like either fully commit or break up. So that's on the table. What did they make? Well, Michaela, some of the standouts, Michaela made a Jesus Christ pumpkin pie. It was a pumpkin pie that had like an airbrushed picture of Jesus on the top of it. Demi brought her better than what cake with penises on the top. Connor was okay with the penises on the top. In a lavender haze. That's not a lavender marriage. Not at all. Okay. So, Demi's cake won, but in second place was Michaela, and in third place was Whitney. So Michaela was happy because she beat Whitney. Layla, it was a beautiful space. Like, it was a gorgeous space with all the flowers and the white and the rustic. It was beautiful. Layla brings up the Brett confessional, and she's like, listen, if that would have been me, I would have spiraled if that confessional came up about my man. And Michaela mentions, Demi's like, we are never away from each other. And like, Michaela's like, listen, they're never away from each other for more than 4 minutes. Doesn't Jace then say he only needs 2 minutes? I don't think anybody else caught that except for Michaela. She's like, shut up. I thought that was hilarious. Jace gets those little things in there. It makes him maybe one of my favorite, if not my favorite husband for the Mormon wives. Macy says to the group, Macy's like, well, listen, those confessionals, they're garbage. They're garbage. Don't put any stock in it. And then Taylor's like, yeah, except that confessional about me and Dakota and Jenna. Yeah, that was true. She put it right out there. And which to me, off camera, was like, well, maybe she's mentioning it. I don't know why she brought that up, why she said that, but maybe Taylor's mad that I have a good relationship. I don't think that's it. I think she senses you're coming for her. And she thinks you're fake. That's why. Okay, and Macy, what does that? So Taylor then talks about the ultimatum that Dakota put down. Has he changed? It looks like he's trying to change. Like, her heart wants it to work out, but her head is saying, I don't think this is going to. And it's just giving her a lot of anxiety. And Brett asks her, like, do you feel like you deserve love? She said she doesn't know. She says, I don't know. She keeps going back to, she didn't think she deserves love because what had happened in her past with the swinging scandal. And honestly, I was really surprised, but Brett was like, very comforting. He was like, you do deserve love. And then Connor talked about how him and Whitney had gone through those 2 years where they were working things out. Like, it was the hardest time for them, but you know, it was worth it. And you need peace. Whatever you do, you need to do what's best for you, and you need peace. Both of the men were they were just so awesome. They were so lovely and comforting to her. I did not expect that at all. And all the ladies rally around her because she's crying. And I felt so bad. And everybody was rallying around her. And I felt all the love from everybody. Demi was even like, I love you. You know, I love you. And she's talking. That was fake. That was fake. I could see that a mile away. Say it with me. Stevie Wonder could see that from a mile away. Oh, I'm here for you. We're here for you. So everybody, it was left on like a really good ending, like a good, it seemed like everybody was together. And that, to me, honestly, that ending seemed like it was maybe meant to be the finale. Because what comes next, I feel like what comes next is something where the cameras were just picked up. Remember, like when Vanderpump Rules, the ending, what we all thought was going to be the series finale. We were all like, that felt like the series finale. And then Scandival happened and they picked up the cameras. That's what I feel like what happened next. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. You'll probably see this top because I'm going to film it later today, or maybe I'll change my top, but we'll talk about that later. So let me know what you thought in the comments. If nobody told you yet today, You are loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world so it comes right back at you. Please take care of one another. Be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings. Be smart and safe. Let's hydrate often with some water. I got my water. Oh, this was one of my favorite new cups. And it's just water. And if you're in a dangerous situation, know that Dolly and I are sending out our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy so you make it through. I love you guys. And I will see you tomorrow with probably maybe 2 videos. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye. Love you. Bye.